You awake? Wake up, little hero. You've been asleep for far too long. It's not good for you, you know. And it's rather rude to keep a princess waiting. There you are. How wonderful to see you, my dear. I'm so glad that you are finally awake. What's this? Oh, are you a bit put off by my appearance? You used to say that I was beautiful. Do you remember? You know, I know that it was nothing real, not yet. But I always had the feeling that there was a certain fire between us, you and me. But now that I look like this, is that all not good enough for you? Pity. It would have been nice to have you by my side. But no matter. I wouldn't say that it's all that bad. You make a few sacrifices in pursuit of greatness. I'd say it's quite worth it. See, I've always been a lover of nature. The trees, the forest, the energy in the air as the sunlight trickles through the leaves. But that wasn't enough. Not to be able to actually help this kingdom how it needs to be helped by destroying those who would destroy and then lie about it. The royal family, if you can even use that word, is so much worse than you could ever imagine. And yet, here we are lying to everyone, saying that the royal family is someone to be venerated, to be honored, to be respected, to be worshipped almost. What a terrible, terrible lie. The royal family are murderers. All of them. So, when I was approached one day in the forest by a very, very powerful being, offering me some of his power in return for a few menial tasks. Well, who could resist that? And now I have the power to set things right, to take back for nature, for the natives who lived here before we polluted these shores, and take it back and give it back to them. Let the world heal itself after every single one of you is destroyed. But you know, darling, if there was perhaps still some hope for us, maybe I wouldn't have to destroy you. Maybe. Well, you think about it, I guess. Your friends. Oh, you mean the other heroes who tried to make it all the way into the Cavern of Whispers and were thwarted by my horde of darkness. Yeah, they're dead. All of them. Every single last one of them. Sorry. You know, darling, you're not looking all that good either. Perhaps I could help heal some of those wounds for you. Maybe. You don't want anything from me, do you? Well, your friends are dead and they're not coming back. Well, actually, I guess technically I could perform the ritual again and then they could join my undead horde. Yeah, that would maybe be fun. Then the heroes who fought so hard to try to stop me could be a part of the forces that I control to destroy the entire kingdom. No, you don't want that. All right. Well, they're not coming back. You're not getting out of here unless I say so. So, I could kill you now. Or perhaps I could heal your wounds so that you don't die a slow and painful death. And we could talk about what your future might hold. You can resist if you would like, darling. I've already made up my mind, though, so it will hurt less if you hold still. I think you'll thank me once I'm done. It's all right. It's all right. Don't be disturbed by the voices. They're here to help you, darling. They listen to me. They are here to do my bidding and help to heal those ghastly battle wounds of yours and restore you so that perhaps, maybe one day, you might choose to be by my side once more. A fighter such as yourself, so very strong, so very sure of themselves, rather intimidating, but in such a captivating way. You know, I'm not normally one for brute force. I prefer things with a little more finesse usually, but you, when you fight, you really are a sight to behold. You would make a wonderful addition to my horde of darkness. You know, the sad thing is, I really do think that you were trying to do the right thing in helping the royal family and protecting the kingdom. But if you knew the truth, if you knew the horrors that my ancestors and my father have committed in order to maintain their power, destroying the villagers, the mongrels, the lizard folk, the fawns, all sorts of beautiful, interesting creatures, just because they didn't understand them, and because they wanted what they had: the land, the resources, so that they could grasp power. That's what it all boils down to, darling. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Maintaining power, control. At what cost? at the cost of hundreds, if not thousands, of lives, at the cost of destroying this beautiful continent with all of her beautiful forests, all of the different wonderful plant lives and animal lives, the creatures, the streams, the mountains. Nothing is safe from someone with enough ambition and no qualms about what they do to achieve their goals. And yet we're taught to celebrate that. No, we're not. We are not taught what really happened, what really keeps happening. When the villagers and the low folk, as they've been labeled, rise up and try to take back their freedom, they're labeled as rebels, as usurpers of the peace. What peace? Our peace, certainly not theirs. All they want is their home. All they want is the freedom to live their lives outside of the oppression of people like you and me. And yet they're called the enemy. Is that fair? See, there's quite a lot that you don't know, darling. Quite a lot that has happened, that has been hidden. History is written by the victors. Those who lose, those who die, they don't get a say, do they? And so when we are taught what happened, we get it from the lens of the people who won. And we are taught what they want us to be taught. Well, unfortunately for my father, a few generations ago, there was a historian who worked at the palace. And she knew the truth. She knew what was being done, the orders that were being given behind closed doors, the acts of terror, thievery that were happening that no one else knew about. She discovered them, and she wrote them down, and she hid them away so that she herself wasn't destroyed and all of her writings and all of her work lost. But she left clues around the grand library in the castle. And there those clues stayed, undiscovered, undeciphered, for 100 years, until one king had 7 daughters, and each of the first 6 daughters were blessed with qualities that the king admired, that the king praised. One daughter was made a delegate to to a foreign kingdom. One daughter was particularly beautiful, was married off to form a peace treaty with another kingdom. Another daughter became a lawmaker, a spokesperson for the people. Another daughter became a fierce warrior, defending the kingdom on the front lines. Every single daughter that he had was revered by the king and by the people. Except one. The youngest. Poor little daughter. Timid. Shy. Quite intelligent, but too afraid to ever actually speak up. But that daughter loved the library. Loved finding stories, different books, different tales of old, to escape to a time when perhaps someone would have noticed her, as opposed to her own time. And that seventh daughter spent enough time poring through those books, studying every carving, every statue, every tapestry in the library, that she started to notice strange little things, just here and there. Perhaps a color used in a tapestry that shouldn't have been there. Perhaps a carving on one of the walls of a person pointing at something. All kinds of little clues that she started to piece together. And she did. Eventually, she completed the puzzle, and she found that historian's writings, all of her records of the horrible things that had happened in this kingdom, in order to give this kingdom what it has. All of these heinous crimes that had been covered up by people in power. And that poor seventh princess started to think, started to question, started to try to unearth truths and read between the lines of what other historians had written. Started to question. And eventually started to plan. You see, dearest, I'm really not the big bad either. You've been looking for who's been pulling the strings behind the surface. In this particular plot, I suppose it was me. But there have been people in power pulling the strings for generation upon generation, and getting away with it. Being praised for it, even. I'm not the big bad. That would be the kingdom that you so loyally serve, not knowing what lies beneath the surface. Nothing that I could possibly do could possibly add up and the horrors and the wrongs done already in this kingdom. So, maybe you surviving, maybe it's meant to be. Maybe you also might start to question, to wonder, to look for answers on your own. And just maybe, you might see that I'm actually right. Maybe, just maybe, the prized warrior of the kingdom, dedicated to defending the king and everything that he stands for, might join forces with the seventh princess and help to right hundreds of years of wrongs and let the natural order of things return. Through fire and chaos, we will restore what should never have been broken. We could do it. You and I. Together. It's all right, my dear. You don't need to give me an answer right now. I've given you much to think about, and I can see that you are thinking about it. That's all I ask. That you take the time to wonder, to ask those questions. And once you learn the truth, that you respond, as I know that you will. I do truly believe that you mean to do what is right. I think you will. I really think you will. Well, your wounds are certainly looking better. But to fully heal, you will need some rest. So why don't you rest, my dear? And we'll revisit this later, after you've had some time to think. And maybe, just maybe, I could welcome you into my horde of darkness. Because really, the darkness is just a temporary, necessary evil, so that we can bring back what truly should be the light. Just think about it, okay? Just think about it. But for now, why don't you